Today I'm making some dinner rolls. This is a plain roll recipe. Now I'm making a sort of a standardized recipe. I said I was going to start cooking healthier stuff, so I'm going to give you the base recipe. And one thing you should remember, as long as you keep the content of the flour the same, the total fluid, whether that's combined milk and water, the same, you should be okay. And you can pull back on the fat, you can use less oil, you can trade some of the water for milk to taste, take out some of the sugar, for example. There's only 1 teaspoon of salt in this recipe, so I don't know how far you can go. So, in this bowl, I've got a 1/4 cup of warm water. Now, the water for yeast, as I said in another video, should be between 105 and 115 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'm just going to cut one open, sprinkle it on top. Yeah, you need 2 packages for this. This is going to make 2 dozen dinner rolls. You hear, oops, now what did I do there? That does not go in the recipe. That noise you hear in the back is my rice cooker starting out for the sushi I'm going to be making after this is done. Okay, so that's in. Give that a quick stir. Now this will not dissolve a lot. You're not going to proof this very long because you've got an extremely long rise for this. This is about 1.5 hours for these. So this is something that you can make earlier in the afternoon. It is possible to freeze these, but like any other bread that's frozen, it doesn't taste as good as it did the first time. So the yeast is nearly dissolved here. Now, the reason I've got the pot on the counter, the next thing you need for this is 1.5 cups of scalded milk. Now to scald milk, this is already scalded and it's cooled down. What you do is you put it on the stove and keep a very close eye on it while you stir it until it's nearly boiling. Pull it off the heat, let it cool down until it's the right temperature, which this is. This is just warm. And then you're going to mix that in with the yeast. I'm just going to let that sit there for a couple of minutes. So I've got the 1 teaspoon of flour just kind of resting on top of the flour. This is definitely a big bowl recipe. I have got 4 cups of flour there. 1 teaspoon of salt. This is going to require, I'm going to dry this off first, this is going to require 1/4 cup of sugar. You can use white. I'm just using white because it's easier. You could use brown, you could use 50/50. I don't think you'd want to use demerara or something like that because it would just be too sweet. Okay, so I'm just going to grab the big whisk for this. Whisk this up just a bit to get it mixed up. Take a look at how our yeast mixture is doing. Yeah. Now the reason I'm not proofing this is this is from the same pack that I did the bagels with, and I already know that if 1 pack is live, the rest of the package that you bought will be live. You just can't buy like a 3-pack and have 1 work and the other 2 won't, unless you've kept them in very strange storage conditions. Okay, so the yeast is good to go. That will go in there. Let's put those in the pan. Now I'm going to add the 2 eggs. If you end up taking eggs out of here, oops, that was the wrong pack, these are the boiled ones. Just hang on, I'll go check the eggs. Okay, try this again. Yes, these are non-boiled eggs. Okay, so there's 1. Now, what I was saying before is if you want to take the eggs out completely, you would have to substitute with an equal volume, which would be approximately 1/3 to 1/2 cup of water. They will lose something in the translation. Okay, so there goes the eggs. Come on. And I'll put the oil in as well. I don't know what this would taste like with one of these healthy oils. I'm using corn oil. You can use corn, safflower, canola, peanut. I don't know if I want to make these with olive oil. So what I'm going to do is just whisk this up for a few minutes, and I'll let you take a look at it when I'm done. Okay, so, well, this is one of these recipes where the whisk sounds good at the beginning. After the first couple of swings through it, it practically gets impossible to move. So what you're going to do is switch to the wooden spoon. Now, you should be able to see here the consistency of the dough. This is nearly like a batter. This is why dinner rolls are nice and soft instead of bread, like buns. So, yeah, as long as it looks even and there's no huge lumps in it, and you can sort of pick it up, you see what I mean there. There's no big nasty chunks there in the middle of dried ingredients. Yeah, you can just let it sit to rise now. So I'll take a look at the clock. Yeah, it's around 2:15. So I will come back to this at around 3:45. See you then. Oh, and I did forget, yes, do cover the bowl, okay? You can either use a damp paper towel saran wrap, but do not leave this open to the air, and you don't want to turn this out onto the counter. Okay, so it's now 3:45. It's been an hour and a half. The oven is heating up to 350. I've got my pump spray bottle for oil. Take a hint, Shannon. No more aerosols. Okay. If anybody's confused, somebody I know, Shannon, she is responsible for global warming, but that's another story. Okay, so you just want to spray the bottom here. Okay, so that's greased up. Now, we have our dough. Whoa. Did that rise or what? Okay. This is a very sticky dough. This is why I've got a bowl of flour here. I'm going to flour my hands before I touch this. So how you flour your hands, just get a bowl of flour, and I guess this is just like gymnastics for people that cook, right? So what you want to do is you scrape down the dough, and as you scrape it down, it will start to deflate on its own. You don't even have to punch it down. Okay? So what you can do with this, I want to try a couple of things. I'm just going to turn this into the greased pan right now. Okay? Now it's tempting to make like one big dinner bun, but, oops, I don't want to do that. Yeah, more flour. So I'm going to just, yeah, I don't even know if that was greased enough. I'll put a bit of flour. Now if it's not greased enough, you can also flour the bottom. That will help it from sticking. There's a technique for flouring a pan. Too late now. I'll show you some other time. Now, what you can do is you can just cut it up. I want to try something. I'm going to cut this